Welcome to the eSales Podcast, your ultimate guide to mastering the art of online selling. Whether you're an entrepreneur, business owner, digital marketer, or sales professional, this podcast is the passport to dominating the digital marketplace. My name's V, your eSales navigator. Join me as we dive into the latest strategies, tools, tactics to help you automate and conquer the world of online sales. Get ready to boost your online sales game and unlock your full potential. Let's dive in. Welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have Chad Wooters here today on our show. He's got an MBA and he's also running his own business in AI and basically helping businesses scale their sales through implementing chatbots and AI solutions. Chad, welcome to the show, and I'm so excited to have you on board.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, V. It's really great to be on, and especially talk with someone across the pond or across the ocean, Abe Ocean. I haven't been to Australia, but it's on the list.
Oh, yeah, well, please check it on your list. I'm also, US is also on the list as well, and it's fantastic that we have all this tech that allows us to connect all around the world. So, speaking of connecting and tech, talk to us about your experience and how you've managed to help other businesses scale their sales through AI.
Yeah, it is a fascinating world what's happened in the last year or 2 years as AI has kind of become a consumer tool. But for those that are really looking to do more, to be more effective with their time, you really have to kind of take a second, take a step back and look at what AI can do. The modern professional, especially the salesperson, has an opportunity to cut back on the work that is a drudgery zone issue. It's something that's distracting or something that's necessary for your sales activity, and really leverage AI as something of a personal assistant. And you could even train certain AIs to be more of a personal assistant in certain capacities. But I'd say one of the funnest and also one of the most entertaining to demonstrate how AI can help. It actually started off with a friend of mine in sales in the construction industry. He had an email that he needed to write for a customer. And he said, Chad, this customer is a pain in my butt. And he may or may not have used that word, but you guys get the point. And I need to send them an email and I can't find the time to do it. And I really just don't want to write this nice email to them, but I don't want to lose them as a client. And just, I keep needing to write this email, but I just keep not wanting to write this email. And he's an older gentleman, I'd say early 40s. And so I said, well, I know that you don't like to text on your keyboard and stuff. So let me show you what I would do. So I had him download ChatGPT on his phone. I said, I want you to tell AI the email that you'd like to send. And then I'd like you to have AI ask it to write that email in a nicer format. And so what he did is he took his voice to text and he said, hey, I so thank you for your inquiry. And I just want to let you know that I really don't want to send you an email that makes you feel valuable, but I have to. I do have the information on X, Y, and Z part, and I can help you with it, but I really want to hand you off to another rep because the commission's not worth it, whatever, whatever. And he went through this kind of joking email, and AI spit out a beautiful email that made the customer feel like the best thing since sliced bread. It validated their concerns, did everything for him. And so he was actually able to write the email that he needed to without writing the email that he wanted to. And so he used the voice to type function, did everything in that method. And in just 2 or 3 minutes, he had a beautiful professional email, made a couple tweaks, sent it off, called it a day. So that's the first and easiest application for my sales friends out there is have AI write the email that you don't want to write. Super fun.
Oh, love that. And I think, look, for me, I've definitely gone through the blank page syndrome, where I'm literally
Yes.
staring at the page and saying, what do I say? And then I just end up writing all this, I call it brain splurt or brain fart, if you want to
Yep.
call it that. And it just sounds like not so great. And it would be amazing if I had a tool to actually help me do that. It actually eliminates so much thinking that I don't need to spend
Yes.
on writing an email.
Right. It's one of those pieces where sometimes we have to get to that output, right? And we can get more granular with AI. We can give it the bullet points, what we need to send someone. We can get as good as we need to. But if we want to have that little extra whatever, that flair, emotion, the little joke, the personalization, helping that person feel valuable. There's nothing like jumping into the cab, texting your AI friend to write an email, and then do it all from your phone without having to think about it. And that's just scratching the surface about what AI can do for sales. And really the theme that I've come with to AI is that AI allows me to do the things that only I can do. If you're in sales, that means that you're gifted in selling things. And part of the job is sending emails. Part of that job is doing different pieces which are required to make the sale, but are not your unique value proposition. And AI allows us for pennies on the dollar to have that assistant like role and really focus on the things that we need to that drive our results, that give us bigger commissions, that create the results that our managers or that ourselves are looking for.
Yeah, and so like apart from writing an email, I know you said you're just scratching the surface. How can, if someone's not familiar with, ChatGPT or actually comfortable with using this tool, what would you say and what would you give them in terms of the tip?
Yeah, I feel like I say this tip all the time, but it has to be done. And that is you got to go download the app or open it on your computer, sign up for a free account, and basically anytime you think, can AI do this thing? Go ask. And it'll
Hmm.
tell you if it can or can't. When I first started, I thought, you know what? I'm going to start changing my diet up. I actually lost 20 pounds last year. And I said, I'm going to figure out how to eat smoothies for diets. I don't know how to make a smoothie. I've never worked at a smoothie shop. So I said, I wonder if AI can help me. And so I said, hey, I need 5 smoothie recipes and a shopping list. And it did a pretty darn good job. I took that list to the store and that started off my smoothie diet that I used for 8 months to lose that weight. And again, anything that you can think of, just ask. Can it help you organize your bookshelf? Can it help you create ideas for dates? Can it help you create fun jokes for your kids? Absolutely. Just
Wow.
ask it. And the more you ask it, the more you're going to get familiar with it.
Oh, fantastic. I think one of the first experiences I had with AI was actually asking ChatGPT to write me a rap Eminem song with a change of
Yes.
lyrics that I went to Bali for a holiday and it blew my mind. It was incredible. It told a full blown story, how I was on a flight, all in Eminem's like kind of slang and his wording. So that was my first experience with it. And I think from that point it really revolutionized the way I kind of did business. And not only that, just my day to day as well.
Hmm.
And not only that, congratulations on losing 20 pounds, virtual high
Oh,
five.
thanks.
So yeah, I think for those of you on the show, like Chad was saying, please get on to the app, give it go what a go, ask one question and just see what it has to say and give to you.
Yeah, I've had folks tell me just after that one little piece of advice, they've texted me and said, ChatGPT may be my best new friend or my new best friend. And when we look at that, it's like, well, this is the person that you could just kind of, it's not really a person, but for all intents and purposes, this is the direction you can throw your crazy ideas. This is the person or the tool that you can vent your feelings to about that customer and get an ultimately amazing output that actually you
Mm,
can send to someone. I will say, don't make sure you actually read the email that AI writes or read the social media posts or read the text message response. I'll also say for sales folks, don't take forever reading things that you don't need to read.
mm,
You can, don't get me wrong, if there's a product thing and you're in the grain, if you're working with engineers, you got to understand the specifications. But if you're looking at like a white paper study to help you gain industry knowledge and really help you take your expertise to the next level or say, oh, I have a study that does this. One of my favorite tips is I've worked a lot in the medical space and I can take that AI and have it summarize the main takeaways and have it actually answer my questions about what a study says. Again, I'm not spending all that brain power doing all this heavy reading and translating it. I can have the AI translate that for me like I'm a 10th grader, like a freshman in high school or college.
yeah.
And depending on where you are, that's an amazing tool as well.
Wow, that I can just see how much time that's going to save everyone. Just just copy paste and ask a question to ChatGPT. So I guess this kind of brings me on to the next topic that we also spoke about. Copy paste. That is the manual side. But you did say something earlier in our conversations around automating it and chatbots and how we can actually leverage that as part of our scaling our sales.
Yeah, this is more organizational unless you are either a solopreneur or an entrepreneur who is running their own sales company. But chatbots are a thing that's becoming more and more common in the world today. If you go to Google or Amazon, most of the time you're going to get to a chatbot before you ever get to a person. And while a lot of folks want to talk to a real person, that's a value proposition. Now we've got companies that there's messages, well, we'll talk to you for sure. A lot of people, they, especially kind of as we've gotten used to this chatbot modality of communicating, are going to want that faster customer service from these chatbots that can actually answer their questions. So when we're talking about sales, one of the things that the teams I've worked with have come through and said, we want more people who are qualified. We want
Mm,
more people who are interested in the thing that we're doing. And with chatbots that are built in a particular way, that takes the knowledge base of what you do as a company, it takes the knowledge of the funnel or the qualifiers that you want in your prospects. You can use AI to do several pieces that help with sales. One is you can use it to capture lead information, which for any salesperson, we want more leads, right? That's where the money is. So we got to go get that. The second piece is if you program it right, you build it right, you can actually qualify those leads. You can have it take information from the conversation and train the AI. And this is technically not training the AI, but we'll use that for kind of the simple terminology on it. We're going to show this AI how we go about that process of qualifying it, and it will be able to learn and for the most part communicate where they are. Are they a cold lead? Are they a warm lead? Are they a hot lead? And so they can take the bot, capture the lead, categorize it, and then potentially sync that to your CRM, notify you with a lead information sheet, and even give you more information from there. Depending on the complexity, technically speaking, these bots have the capacity to not only get the lead information, go scrub additional information off the internet, and then give you all of that on a silver platter so that you're calling them. So it's twofold. It builds value for potential leads, and it gives you as a salesperson the list of people to call in a
mm.
potentially descending order of hottest to coldest.
Wow. And this is perfect around, being able to qualify leads and warm them and keep them nurtured. I think there's a lot of effort, traditionally that we call, get on the cold call and it's literally
Mhm.
cold, and then from there you have to do the manual emailing or sending them the links to the YouTube channel or any references that you as a business might have, and then follow-up call and then another follow-up call. So you're saying that a chatbot is able to do all that for you, um, automatically.
It depends. Now don't run, there are call chat bots, things of that nature. I
Yeah.
will say that most of those are not built out in a way that
Mm,
builds value. There are a couple, and those are very, very good. I'm more talking about the inbound lead that comes to your website from any marketing effort and then converts into a warm lead, or maybe a prospect who converts to a lead, depending on how you define those. For that instance, though, what I will tell you is incredibly powerful. And this actually goes into kind of the chatbots, but more specifically into kind of custom trained GPTs or custom trained chatbots. For example, we've built out chatbots that are trained to support sales staff. That would be an example. So an internal, not external chatbot. And with one of these chatbots and maybe a virtual assistant, you could say, hey, I'm calling these people and I'm getting this information and I want to get them on a call to talk about these things. Or I want to get this decision maker on a call. And you can automate a lot of that follow-up given a bot to a team member that is able to help make progress on that lead for you. Now, today, like I said, there are a couple that you can invest in that are very good chatbots, or they do the texting, they do the calling, they do that kind of piece of outreach. And those, if you find the right ones, they're really great. Or you can kind of do this hybrid approach where you
mm,
train and build AI tools that allow you to scale with assistants that allow you to really reach out and have a greater impact. And that I think is where the technology for most sales folks is today. Because if you just trust the AI, you're going to get mixed results
mm.
unless you go on the high end of those products. But if you have
Yes.
people and AI, you're really talking about a potential gold mine because you can
Mm.
scale your authentic voice. And that is a powerful tool because it's still your voice, still monitored by a
Yeah.
human.
Yeah, yeah. And so that's another concern from people around, relying too much on the tech and not getting that personalized touch when it comes to human interaction. So you're
Yeah.
saying, talk to me more about that and your experience and how people can integrate the people and the tech together.
hmm Yeah, it's a great question. It's something that, frankly, I'm going to give you guys kind of a roadmap, and there's going to be a lot of folks like me out there who do this professionally who might be a little upset with me. So if you're someone like me in the space, I apologize, but I want to help these folks who maybe don't have the budget to hire someone like us to go out and do this to go try it on their own. And I'm just going to tell you, if you are stuck, go hire a professional. It's going to be worth it. But looking at this equation, what it is you got to figure out first what are the steps that you need to take. The second piece is how do you talk? What are the things that you say? How does your tone come off? I'm sarcastic, so I'm not rudely sarcastic with prospects, but I, I have a little bit of the sass, in my communication. So I need to define in a terminology that a computer can understand how I talk, the things I want to come out in my voice. And that's that second step. And then the third piece is that we need to build a system that I can use with a team member who I might need to train that says, when this happens, do this. And with these three pieces, understanding our process, understanding our voice, and then creating a system around it, we can really build out something with one of these team members. And it depends on what you want to do. We do work with international folks, and it's really awesome, in my opinion, because we get the opportunity to pay them well above their actual normal wages in their countries. And a lot of them are fantastic learners and fantastic workers. We also employ folks in the United States where wages are just a little bit bigger. And so when it comes to that, we have the opportunity on both ends to hire a range of folks. And with these tools, we can really scale that voice again, so that our sales team, our marketing team, whoever is on the team is doing the thing that they're uniquely gifted in. But it does take some time to build out the process, the voice, and the system.
Yeah, okay, I see. So I could see that you've got a lot of like experience with building out these kind of, I guess, systems and processes. Can you probably give an example? You don't have to name the company or anything like that, but
Yeah,
give an example of one of your, maybe your favorite clients.
yeah. So we've got a gentleman, and he really wanted to scale his online presence as a just on social media. And part of the problem with that, if you've ever tried to do that, and is that it takes a lot of time uh, to go through and comment and like and message and do all these different pieces. And so what he was able to do was he was able to build a bot that allowed him to, like I said, scale his voice. And inside of that, he started experimenting and seeing what he could do and how it could save him time. He did it backwards. We did it a little backwards with him. Eventually, we built out the process. And he said, okay, when I have a prospect or when I'm connecting with people on LinkedIn, I'm evaluating these criteria as their experience. I'm looking at the industry they're in. I'm looking at if they're X, Y, or Z in that industry. I'm qualifying them. If they're qualified, then I want to send them a message. And
Mm-hmm.
that message needs to be customized to who they are, their role. There's nothing quite like I've worked in dental for a lot of years. And because I work in dental, I get messaged by these bots all the time. And they say, hey, Dr. Wooters, I have a master's, not a doctorate. So you're off by a couple letters there. And it's because they think I'm a dentist, because there's not a person on the other side of that. So we find the process. And then, whether it be commenting or messaging, there's a person who's able to start reaching out to these folks with this tool that replicates his voice. And so now he's commenting on social media posts and he's saying, it looks like the feedback he gave me was that people were like, how are you doing this? Like, I know you've got the best sales numbers here, and yet you're still on, like, do you work? Like, how do you work? Like, you comment so much, this is a problem. And he didn't, at first, when he was training, he didn't just let the virtual assistant go off and post. He still approved everything. But the more he trained the bot, the more he got granular with those details, it was just able to do better and better job. And eventually it kind of got to that point where he wasn't supervising that as much. But on the other side, on the messaging side as well, he was able to message folks and get appointments scheduled on the calendar. And when people jumped on the phone with him, and this is a big thing, when people jumped on the phone with him, it wasn't a different voice. Obviously, There's a different tone and tenor because it's text. But the voice that was in the messages was the same voice that they were going to get to see, the same talking style, those pieces. And so, in this way, he was able to scale his authentic voice, qualify more prospects, have a bigger reputation, and actually generate more leads and results as the outcome of building his process, scaling his authentic voice, and then building a system around that outreach.
Wow, that's incredible. I think look, I'm fascinated to hear more around how and what. It's just like I'm like mesmerized with how scalable that the system is. You know, especially if you're talking about you've mentioned lots of different AI tools. One being analyzing the leads, qualifying them, and also the text to speech functionality as well, which we haven't even spoken about. So many different elements that probably might help if you get a professional to help you out. But if for those of you who don't have the professional help or want to actually explore some of the tools now, do you recommend any sites apart from ChatGPT that people can explore?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, your big two are going to be Claude AI, which is a ChatGPT competitor, and ChatGPT. They're going to be able to give you the best experience with that. The voice to text is something you can do on pretty much any mobile keyboard out there. That's going to be pretty standard. In terms of learning and looking at that, I would say for me, it's been done on podcasts and YouTube. You can really find a lot of resources there. The problem is that, as we've all seen, a lot of times you've got to kind of dig for the valuable
Mm,
pieces that apply to you. A lot of people in my experience are not looking to shift their careers or not looking to become AI experts. And if you're not looking to become those things, well, then you're going to have a hard time finding some of the content on the internet. But from my understanding, you actually help folks with some of the training side of that and like getting the salespeople into those tools as well. So I maybe you would be better someone to send them towards the different tools and analyzing their leads. When I'm talking about AI analyzing leads, that's actually going to be more of a we understand when we get a new lead, we need these qualifiers.
mm,
Gosh, a lifetime ago, we used to have 8 qualifiers when I was in the financial sector. And it was over 25. They've got a house, they make X amount of money, they're married with kids, the 8 different pieces. And that's the kind of qualifiers that you could train a bot that's on your website that talks to leads to identify, whether it be through natural language or through question and answers. And please, if you're building bots, do yourself a favor and don't like program the bot to do 8 questions in a row. You're not going to figure out any of the qualifiers at that point. There are ways to build in analysis into the conversation that gets that information without it feeling like a question, which you might know if you're familiar with sales. But yeah, there's a lot there.
yeah, that is a lot. And I think if we take it a step back, it's around making sure that we don't get technology and people too separated and don't just focus on that
Yes.
technology. So making sure we have the balance of conversational questions that don't sound too salesy and sleazy, that people kind of
Hmm.
back off and exit your site or exit the chatbot.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Build value. In marketing and sales, if you can build value, you're going
Mm,
to always get people coming back. And that's why like I don't mind sharing as much as I can. Again, I like to go deep sometimes, so I got to bring myself out a little bit, but I want to give value because I know that that's going to be the best sales tool that is. And that's why AI chatbots exist and why you would scale your authentic voice. If you're not going to be building value in your commenting or messaging or sales pitch, well, then why are you doing it in the first place?
yeah, 100%. And I think this just comes back down to business 101 to get clear on
Hmm.
what you do, your purpose, and what you actually offer your clients and finding the right leads. I think going into business and AI, I think if you don't have that, then I think the AI, the chatbots might be a bit tricky to tune and train. I mean, Chad, have you ever had any kind of big failures or any like horror stories of how someone's tried to implement AI or chatbot?
Yeah, and I don't think you've got to look too far to find those, if I'm being honest. I'm a quality sociopath. I don't like things going out. I have any of the work that I do that is not good. I've got a bit of a control freak piece of me that's there. Try to let go of it at times. So I can't say that in the projects I've worked on, I've had any issues necessarily with lacking quality products go out, except for when I've been beta testing or times where we've allowed for that. But that's because we've done a lot of work in reviewing, like I said, not removing the human component. But I promise you, go on to LinkedIn, go on to Instagram, go on to Facebook, and go look at some of these posts. I'm going to give you 3 or 4 hallmarks right now of what I think is some of the greatest failures of AI in the world. So, number one is social media post titles. They usually have emojis on either end, and there's some title-esque thing, like you're reading a paper or a blog. And then the first sentence of that social media post is almost the same thing as the title. It's a little bit different, but it's very, very similar. Then you keep reading, and you're going to see an ungodly amount of emojis that are being used. And some of them are fine, but some of them are like, that seems a little excessive. And once upon a time, before AI, that was called creativity, and now it's called AI. Going back a little further into the post, the last thing for you to check beyond certain words, you might notice things like enlightening or transformative or words like this that AI loves to use. And before you get to the very, very end, when you scroll, because you're not going to like the post because you know AI made it, is you're going to see hashtags that don't make any sense to anyone. And you're going to say, no human would write that hashtag. And you're probably right. And there was one company who will remain nameless because I do not defame companies, but there was one company that I saw. I was like, I want to reach out to this marketing person. I think I might know who this is, and just tell them to like remove the title off the post. Like, such a small thing, but don't copy and paste the AI into the social media scheduler and then let it go. Like, take a few minutes to do this. And what's tragic about this is that Google caught on in early March of 2024, March 5th to be precise. If you look it up, Google penalized purely AI-driven content creation. They did a manual survey evaluating something like 2,000 websites, or it was two with a couple zeros behind it. Maybe it was 20,000. Anyways, you can look up the study. They found that 90% of the new contents of these sites they surveyed were 100% AI generated. And
100%.
as or I think actually since ours over 90% AI generated, which is pretty much
A lot.
just as bad. Yeah, too much. And as a result, they penalized AI created content. If it has over 90% AI generation content, you're not going to get ranked as high because they're catching on to how this stuff works. And so where AI is such an opportunity when done well, and I would say that's for anything, when done well, this really works. Cold emailing, cold calling. We've all been called by the guy who's an amazing cold caller. We've all been called by the guy who really shouldn't have been making cold calls. It's the same situation. When people are doing a lot of the bad thing, it's going to give that thing a bad name. But can you be like the gentleman I mentioned earlier who no one actually realized he was using AI? People don't even believe he's using AI because it's so real. The source material, which is vital, is so good.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, huge insights there. And I have seen those copy and paste posts that just make you cringe, like really cringe worthy. But there's a technique to actually finessing, what the AI bot or the tool actually gives you though. So I think like a note that you just mentioned, Chad, is to actually QA it, quality assure it, make sure that whatever
Yes.
comes out is your brand, your authentic voice, your essence that you want to actually give to
Yeah.
the audience. Otherwise, I think, negative consequences and people might actually literally walk away and press the unfollow button.
Yes, they will. And this is especially true, and I don't know, someone's going to send me some hate mail for this, I'm confident. But you see these, I see them all the time. And it's because I talk about AI all the time. People are like, no, Chad, no more AI talk, please. But you see these, AI will write you emails and send you emails and do this and do that. And it's like, please just maybe try it, sure. But like on like 10 people, not like your entire list. Like, be careful about that because it's getting a bad name. I've received cold emails that are phenomenal. from folks, and they're great. But I receive tons of cold emails that never even make it to my inbox because they're just gross. And AI by itself is okay, but only if it's been trained, only if it's been prompted well, only if you've given it good source material. And source, I've said that a couple times. So what are some good source materials? If you ever write blogs, if you've written emails in the past that you absolutely love, if you have ever recorded a call and have a transcript, these are all amazing source materials that you can give the AI. It says, this is my voice. That's a very light version of what someone like me will help you with. It'll say, oh, cool, these are the words he uses. This is the type of sentences he uses. Use that as part of your prompt, and you'll get a little bit better results.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so that way you're still using you as a foundation.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
One big piece, I'm sorry, this is
Sorry.
just a tiny tip that has been incredibly impactful for me, is the moment you see AI do something you don't like 2 times. Okay. So for example, I found out that AI just doesn't like to use normal emojis or even good emojis. So if I'm ever using AI for social media, I tell it to write no emojis because it's better to have no emojis and add my own later down the road. So anything that you don't like, just add it to your template prompts and you'll actually get better results. And you might have a bullet point list of things. Don't add emojis, don't add hashtags, don't put a title. Try that out with your good source material and you're on your way to becoming an excellent prompter.
Oh, fantastic. Done. Noted. I think we'll definitely take that on board. So just on that, if you were to give the audience one tip, and you have given a few throughout the whole show, which everyone's really lucky to have, what would it be, Chad, to scale their business?
The number one tip, it's kind of 2 parts.
Go.
The number one tip is make a list of all the things that you do that you have to do, but they don't have to be done by you.
Okay.
That list is your biggest time suck, and it's something that you shouldn't be doing. You can either delegate it, you can automate it, or you can eliminate it. So make the list. Number 2 is to see if AI can help you reduce or eliminate the amount of time you spend on that list. It might not, but if you've got a big enough list, then you might need to go hire an assistant. Because again, every moment you're not spent making sales, or if you're a marketer, marketing is a moment that you're not being as effective as you could be. So make the list and then go get it done.
So true. I love that so much. I think that list is definitely a very simple yet very effective tool. Some people don't realize how many things, including myself, get stuck in the day-to-day minor things like writing an email or even checking a social media post or whatever it may be. I do get caught up in that. So that list is going to be amazing. I think I'm going to take away and actually do it myself when I get off this call.
Awesome.
So Chad, I've actually had such a wonderful time speaking with you today. It's been very insightful, and I can see that you're really professional and actually passionate about this area. So how do people find you?
Oh, yeah. I'm really bad at social media, so I would recommend if you are going to reach out to me on social, it's LinkedIn for sure. That is the best social media. It's kind of the only one I check. Other than that, you guys can go to my website. For myself, I've got one, chadmwooters.com. Not chadwooters.com. That's a guy. I'm trying to find him. If you know him, I'll fix his website for free, okay? Or you can go to my company site, Kairos, Kairos talks.com. I'd love to talk. If you need help, that's what I do, is help folks. So
Perfect. So, and what I'll do is I'll have all those links in the description. So please check Chad out. Add him on LinkedIn. Reach out to him on all things AI and chatbots. And Chad, thank you so much. I really enjoyed having you on the show, and I hope we get to do this again soon.
yeah, thank you, V. It was really great to connect.
No problem. Thanks, Chad.
Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you listening into the show today. And if you did like our content, please like, share, and subscribe to this podcast or this YouTube series, so that way we can keep giving you more content and sharing you more knowledge around how to scale your sales online. And if you are wanting to boost your sales online, please sign up to our e-sales school where you will learn to automate and navigate your way around in this digital marketplace. Thank you so much once again. I really appreciate you joining in today. And remember to keep selling, keep having fun, and keep being you.